Richie from This Is Real Life, and this is a real life review of my 8-inch 5-speed bench drill press. Now I got this from Harbour Freight about 2 years ago, only just getting around to review it, but then I'll be able to tell you a lot more about it than somebody that just had it for a day or so. It's now $69.95. However, if you go on the harbourfreight.com website, typically you can print off a coupon which gives you 20% off. So I got this for around about $40 including the tax. I paid something like $30 just for this little clamp to go with it, although Harbour Freight, I now notice, do sell one at $19.95. Anyway, if you're a hobbyist or you've got home machining to do but you want a professional grade drill, I would say this is definitely the one for you. Do not be put off by the price. The 8 inches, if anybody is wondering what that refers to, is the height travel on this table on here. Motor on it, it's got a 1/3 of a horsepower motor. We've got 5 speeds on it, which I shall show you in just a second, as that's a lot easier to do when it's close up. We've got a little work light on here, which is fully flexible. Very simple to operate indeed, but let me show you, bring the camera down, show you a few of the features in close up, and then I'll show you a practical demonstration. I'll be using the 5-speed bench press drill, and I'll talk you through my thoughts on it, any problems I've had along the way. Now I am going to be giving a practical demonstration of the drill working in this video. I would just say, please don't be hypercritical of my drilling technique. I'm not an engineer. This video is mainly about me reviewing the features of the drill and helping you making the decision as to whether it's the one for you or not. Well, firstly, you might be thinking it's not got any holes on the outside in the corners to be able to screw it down to your bench with, but we do have 2 holes here which you could put bolts through, screws through to hold it to the bench. However, I have not bothered. I've not found any of the work that I have done it's moved around at all, because this thing weighs 32 pounds, so it doesn't tend to vibrate. It's never vibrated, it's never moved around on the side, and besides which, that hole there is really handy for locating the chuck key, so you never lose it. The table, this can move in 45 degrees in either direction, but to do that you need to undo the bolt underneath, so I'm not going to do that for the purposes of this video. When you slide it up and down to your relevant height that you want, and when you've got the table to the relevant height you want, it simply locks off using this little lever here, the same, just turn it anti-clockwise to release it. And it's also got a very handy drill height guide that you can use on here using these 2 bolts to set your drilling depth of the work that you're going into, which can be an absolute godsend for the kind of work that I do on here. As I said, you've got the flexible light which simply turns on and off here, and our drill moves up and down easily using the handle on the side here. About the only bit of self-assembly you have to do with the drill, you don't have to bolt any of the bottom together or anything like that, is to actually screw the 3 handles in. Now I would say the good and the bad things about it. There is no vibration of the machine, doesn't want to move across, but every now and again, as I've just discovered on there, the handles do come a little bit loose. Anyway, I mentioned it came with 5 speeds, so let's have a look at those. And simply by lifting this cover here, which is just a little spring clamp, you will see we've got a system of pulleys on here where you can alter the speeds simply by changing, and you can change it between 620 RPM, 1100 RPM, 1720 RPM, 20, 30, 40 RPM and 3100 RPM. I have, just for my purposes, kept it on the stock middle setting that it comes with, although at times, although looking at this today has made me think maybe I should up the speed a bit for the work I'm doing. But as I say, I'm no engineer, but for my purposes this does exactly what I need pretty well. But I'm sure you'd like to see a practical demonstration, so let's do that right now. I would just say, whilst it doesn't come with this clamp, it is quite handy, and it will clamp down if you want it to. You will see we've got the 2 slots on the plate there. If you put 2 bolts through in here, you could clamp the plate down. I don't tend to bother. I do tend to do it freehand. So people will probably look at what I'm doing in horror on here, but as I say, I'm not an engineer, but it's ideal for my hobby purposes. So apologies if I'm not following any safety etiquette out there, but this drill, as you will see, does exactly what I need. In the first instance, I'm using a template. I'm just drilling holes lightly down into the surface before removing this top plate and drilling the actual holes through the plate. So bear with me. Anyway, I quickly need to change the drill over. The chuck takes from 1/16 drill bits up to 1/2 inch on there, so quite a wide range of bits on there. I've not had any problems at all. Oh, the other thing I would say, when it comes for assembly, you do need to tap the chuck in, but it does come with instructions on that, and I apologise that I didn't mention that earlier. Nice and tight, and as I say, that hole down there, I tend to find is very handy for putting the chuck bit away in. Okay, doing my second set of holes and marking it. Okay, finally ready to actually start drilling right the way through my metal. I know I appreciate some engineers out there are probably looking at this in horror, but it works for me. I appreciate if you're drilling through steel, you might want the thing clamped down, but for my purposes, this works for me, and the drill is... I've never had any problems at all, except occasionally when I'm using my countersink, as I'll show you in a minute, occasionally the drill will stall. I immediately then turn it off if it does, or back the metal away from it. Again, as I say, with that chuck key tucked away in the side there, you're then never having a look around for it on there. Very straightforward to change the drill bit over. Okay, with the pilot holes drilled, time to go to work. Okay, my plate is now fully drilled out. Now I need to flip it over and countersink the holes on the other side. Anyway, now I need to swap the drill bit for the countersink bit in order to countersink that plate. Now I'm going to need to move the table up, so holding it with one hand underneath, adjust that clamp at the back, simply slides up, bring it to the work surface, clamp that back up nice and tight, and we're ready to countersink the holes. I'm not going to tell you exactly what I use this plate for, as you might think the holes look odd, slightly in the wrong place, out of line, etc. But the emphasis on this review is on the drilling, and the finished product actually comes out pretty well. But overall, I would say I'm highly pleased with the drill. So there we have it. As I say, I'm not an engineer, but this drill just works for me. But the whole point of this video was to show you the features of the drill and review the drill itself rather than my technique and exactly what I'm drilling. But hopefully I demonstrated it's pretty versatile. The height gauge is an absolute godsend for some of the jobs that I do in terms of being able to set that drilling depth. It handles most jobs without any problem at all. Certain tough grades of aluminium, occasionally when using the countersink bit, the drill might stall and you need to be quick turn to back it away on there to make sure you're not causing any overheating, short circuit in the drill. But overall, the thing has never missed a beat in the 2 years that I've been using it, and that's why I felt it relevant to do it now after 2 years of use. And I say after 2 years of use because I do feel that it is relevant to this review. It's not like I've had the thing for a day, a week, and then reviewing it and saying this is a great drill, but for the price I paid for it, this is a great drill. Anyway, hope you enjoyed my 8-inch 5-speed bench drill press review. If you did, then don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Hope this was of use. You can get this at Harbour Freight. Well, thumbs up if you like this video, guys. Post any comments you might have in the comment section below the video and hit the circle below to subscribe. And if you do hit the circle, don't forget to hit the bell.